Welcome to Generation Movie on a Tuesday night.
No, try again.
Welcome to Loud Nerdy on a Tuesday night. Sorry. Look, I'm a little under the weather. I have a little bit of a head cold going into this tonight. So just be kind out there, all you Loud Nerdy
I've got a
fans.
headache, and it's this big.
It's this big. I'm thinking about it. I'm definitely a person that I overtake medication when I get sick because I just want to go into like a bear-induced coma, and I hopefully it works, and then sometimes it doesn't. So, I'm so sorry about that. Loud Nerdy on a Tuesday night. My name is JW Colwell. I'm joined as always by my two cohorts in crime, Kyle Defina and Jerry Kamora of the band Slapjaw. How are you boys doing on this fine Tuesday night?
Doing well.
I'm happy to
Good.
hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Rangers won the President's Trophy. This is all we're going to talk about, Kyle, for a second. Rangers won the President's Trophy, Kyle, and I'm terrified. Just because winning the President's Trophy is never really good. It's never.
Last team to win the President's Trophy and go on to win the Cup, the 2012 Blackhawks. The team before
That's
94 Rangers.
Oh, so well, that's good. At least we have some history. But anyway, to get away from sports because people don't like sports. Let's say a good welcomes to everybody. Good evening, friends.
The boy is
Good evening,
downstairs on the phone with his girlfriend, Raven.
Good evening, Ken McKernan. Hey guys. Hey Raven. Honestly, not the Defina. I want to see where's the boy. He's on the phone with his girlfriend. Also, let's see what else. Just trying to think of anything else I got going on. Oh, I know. So what happened? What?
Nothing. You're
just
good. You're good. Keep
are
going.
you, what?
Picking his nose.
Wait, you're taking your picture off because people don't want to see you. If you like the content,
Sure.
please subscribe to our YouTube channel. By all means, it has our shows. We're I think 19.
My head's way too big.
17. Your head is big too. Is much too big. We're like 17 or 18 shows in on the new network. You can find all our episodes at the YouTube channel. If you like it, subscribe. It would help us out a great deal. Or you can check us out on Facebook. The indie.escape on Facebook.com, and we'll get you up and running there as well. A lot of cool things going on. I think somebody in this room, not me, took control of the Indie Escape thing this weekend. Or this week. Somebody? Didn't you, Jerry? Did you take control of it for a second?
No.
You didn't?
I
You
posted.
didn't put up okay, but were you get but you also commented last night on Generation Movie as well as the Indie Escape Network. Didn't you?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. That. So you were
That's because I was on the site and I forgot wasn't me.
Forgot it wasn't me.
Was voting on a poll as Loud and Nerdy today.
Well, I'm on that one and I'm on the Slapjaw one too. So sometimes I comment at Slapjaw.
I'm gonna be honest. There are so many things that I'm in right now. So that constant switch on Facebook is it can be a pain in the ass, to be honest.
And that's what happened with me.
Let's talk about movies. Let's talk about things that are out now that are doing remarkably well. So first things we're going to talk about is this movie. Civil War opened this weekend. What kind of American are you? As a little card I got at the theater, kind of cool. I had the little warring factions on it, and then you could put yourself in, and then a really cool A24 logo on the back. But that's all they passed out. They didn't have anything like posters or anything cool. So, what kind of American are you? I've reviewed it on Friday. I talked about it a little bit last night. It did very well, although it is the most expensive A24 movie ever. But it grossed $26 million, which is huge for an A24 movie, although it costs $50 million, so it's almost like 5 times what the normal A24 movie does, or is the budget. But it's a pretty great movie. Kirsten Dunst and other recognizable faces, but nobody super recognizable. And it's pretty great. But it's not. I was telling people it is not what you think it is, because the reason it's controversial is when you go see it, it doesn't give you an easy answer. It doesn't take sides, and in fact, for most of the movie, you don't know what side you're on. Like you could be on either like president's side or the Western forces side, which is California and Texas, by the way. And they don't tell you why they got together. They don't say anything. Um,
Actually, those two states make a lot of sense. My son pointed it out to
economically,
me.
economically they don't.
No, no, those are the two biggest military presence for states.
Oh, okay.
They have the most
That's
military
another
bases.
reason. I was thinking because within our economy, those are two of the biggest like sentient economies within our economy. So I was thinking that as well, but that does make sense now that you say it. I think the reason people are uncomfortable is because you can't pick a side, and people like to pick sides when they're a movie. Even when you go see like Godzilla and Kong, you pick a side. It's in our nature to pick a winner. Try to pick a winner and try to be right. But it doesn't give. It's a road movie that gives you these little vignettes of what life could be like if a civil war were to break out, and it really makes you regret if you're pushing for a civil war. It's like, are you really? Are you sure? Like, there's people that drop civil war, like, oh, we're gonna have a civil war. Yeah, just so we're clear, the
It's not a
civil war.
video game, right?
Yeah, it's not a video game. Also,
There's no
when
spawn points.
the Civil War happened, it was a gruesome war. But think about how far advanced we've gotten with war materials now. Think about having to load a musket or whatever, or what you did during the Civil War, and about how not having to do that now. How you can just blow things apart. And so that's a little bit what the movie is. The movie is like these little vignettes where it's like, do you really want the military rolling down the street? Do you really like, and also it takes an interesting turn with regards to people who just, I'm not part of it. I'm not in it. Like they go to one little town, and the town is up and running. Everything's fine, and they go into like this one shop, and they're like, "Do you know a civil war's going on?" And they're like, "Yeah, but we're not part of it.
No, we're Switzerland.
We're Switzerland." And it's a real interesting movie in that regard. It's one of Kirsten Dunst's best performances. She plays like like a photojournalist, and she's basically been all over the world taking pictures, like of horrific things, and like halfway through the movie, she throws her hands up and she's like, "I sent all these pictures home in an effort so that we would never get this way. Like I sent these pictures home as a warning, not as like I was brave or whatever. I sent them home to be like, hey, this is how the rest of the world, what happens when this happens." So it's a poignant movie. There's a mentor mentee relationship with a younger photographer who kind of falls into Kristen Dunst's lap, and she knows Kristen Dunst and she knows her work. And it's a road movie. It's a movie where you get to know the people on the road. It's like a Kirsten Dunst and another journalist who wants to interview the president, even though the president has outlawed journalists in D.C. with the perspective of journalists being shot on sight. So he still wants to go and try to talk to the guy before everything falls. So it's controversial. But I think the reason people are uneasy with it is because there's no easy answer. It doesn't tell you who the sides are. It doesn't, it just drops you into this movie and it's already happened. It's already mid Civil War. The Civil War is almost over. And I think that's why people are uncomfortable. So when people come out of it and they're like, I don't know what the fuck that was, it's kind of like because they don't get to pick a side. There isn't a right or wrong. There's one sequence with military guys, and they're trying to figure out who's shooting at them from a house into like this nativity scene, like the kind of thing you'd see at like Montage Mountain on a Christmas. And there's somebody in a house that's shooting at the Christmas stuff while people are there, and So it's this weird like Christmassy thing, but there's no snow, and it's being used as like a bait kind of thing. And the soldiers that are trying to line up the shots to kill the guy that's shooting at them, they're like, "Well, whose side is he on?" And the one soldier looks at her and goes, "Does it matter? He's shooting at us. Doesn't matter what his side is, what his opinion is. If you don't talk these things out, things crash, right?" And it's kind of what the movie's about. Let's get some comments. Speaking of the stats, while watching on YouTube on my TV, so I can hear yous in the chat on Facebook while I do dishes. Thank you, Raven. We appreciate you. Thank you for boosting our stats. I'm glad. I hope Joe doesn't hear we're boosting. We're cheating. Hey, brothers. Hey, Sean. Hi, Jamie Hill. How are you, Star Skinamarink? We appreciate you checking in with us. I'm reading House of Leaves, Jamie. I want to talk to you at some point if that's something the director of Skinamarink knew about before he made the movie. But that's another time. But I'm reading a book called House of Leaves, and there are rumors that that's maybe a book that the writer and director of Skinamarink does. May have seen. I love the thought-provoking movies A24 does. Even the horror movies out there, they're boxed and multi-layered. They really have become a studio to look forward to when they make something. I agree with that. I think A24, Hereditary, and Alex Garland movies in particular, the director of Civil War, he is this brash director. He's already done a movie on artificial intelligence, Ex Machina. He did a movie on the environment called Annihilation, which is a terrifying movie with one of the more single terrifying creatures I've ever seen on film. That bear thing that makes the sound, fucking creepy. He also made a movie called Men, which is about the relationship between men and women, and now he's made this movie with our fascination with dropping the word Civil War every 5 seconds when somebody disagrees with you about what kind of pie you like. You know what I mean? Like Civil War. And I'm glad you're doing well, Jamie Hill. I just got home from filming Unseen with Steve. I would be curious. I'd like to talk to you at some point just to figure out if he had any idea about this House of Leaves thing, because the book is fascinating. It's a really interesting, difficult read because it's like manuscripts from two different people. So the book has two different fonts, and when you're reading the different fonts, it's a different narrator. Sometimes the narrator is not credible, so it's wild. Okay. There was another movie this week though, and Jerry, I thought of you when I saw it. I saw this movie called Arcadian, and it's not playing everywhere. It's kind of a low budget release. It is the director of it is Ben Brewer, and it's a Nicolas Cage movie, but it's subtle Nicolas Cage. And I want to tell you, Jerry, at some point you're going to have to see it because I want to hear what you think of the creatures. I think it's one of the best creature designs I've ever seen. Because it starts out as an apocalypse movie where basically a father's raising his two sons. It becomes it's got a little bit, the DNA is a little bit Quiet Place, a little bit World War Z kind of thing. Like it's sprinkled, but the creature design in the third act is so bizarre and unique and amazing. Ben Brewer is the guy. He's a director that's made a couple movies. He helped with Reptile on Netflix, the Benicio del Toro thing, and he also was the effects supervisor, head of effect for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So he's super talented, and the creature design is all his. And I was thinking about it, Jerry. The only movie I could think about that had the same kind of like, you remember Attack the Block? Have you ever seen Attack the Block? Kyle, have you seen Attack the Block?
No.
Okay, but the creature design in Attack the Block is just so unique. When you finally see the creatures, you go, holy shit, why didn't somebody think of that already? And the same thing with these creatures. I don't know what they are. They burrow, but they also do an acid drop. Like, and they're furry, but they're also like, and they kind of get into things where they work like the World War Z zombies, so they can climb up It's fucked
That's cool.
in the third act, but it's a really great little Nicolas Cage movie. And the kids are really good. The sons are, one son is attracted to a girl at another farm, and the farm is like, the farm doesn't let anybody else in. So it's like all these little farms, and like Cage has his house with his two sons, and everybody's trying to stay alive.
Raven wants to know what movie you're talking about.
It's called Arcadian. I just put it out.
The Arcadian.
Arcadian.
Some of the episodes of How I Met Your Mother were surrounded by the Arcadian.
Yes, but this is not that Arcadian. That's the movie right there, Raven. Arcadian. Nick Cage, Martell, and
that's
Jenkins.
only in theaters right now?
It's only in theaters right now, but I think it will be very quickly available to either rent or consume. It might be a Shudder movie. It's definitely a Shudder movie.
Mm.
But the creature design is so good, I have to bring it up. And when I came out of this movie, I saw, Civil War on Thursday, and I came out of this movie on Thursday, and it reminded me of when I was working at Blockbuster, and like somebody would come in on a Friday night and say, I don't want whatever the big release is. Give me something good, right? And it reminded me of being able to tell people, you should check this movie out. First, it's really great. Really original creatures, which is hard to do in horror films.
I watched Knox Goes Away with Michael Keaton.
I've wanted to watch that. I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, it's Michael Keaton. How can you go wrong?
And he's directing as well.
Yes.
Yes. But he's been a really good actor for a really long time. We shouldn't be shocked when he makes a great movie. Like if you go back, like he started out like Night Shift, and then he did Clean and Sober, and everybody got their dick got knocked in the dirt because he was so good in that movie.
Gung Ho is one of my favorites, though.
Gung Ho is great. We piss for distance. We piss for actors. Thank you, Kyle. And then Jamie, I like Nick Cage. I like Nick Cage too. I like subtle Nick Cage better than I like over the top Nick Cage, except in Face Off.
Con Air.
Well, yeah, that's over the top Nick Cage too, but Face Off. I like Face Off. He's ridiculous. I can eat a peach for hours is the most ridiculous line anybody's ever given in an action film, and he fucking gets.
What's the thoughts on the girl that secured the armory for Rust getting 18 months with a loaded gun on set?
The thoughts on that are it was first off, the person that died was a very talented filmmaker, and so she was at the top of her craft with regards to what she did, and for her to get shot because somebody wasn't super careful, it reminds me a little bit of like The Crow, what happened to Brandon Lee. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just how can something that egregious, how can something that egregious happen? And also, it is a kind of an unwritten rule that actors are usually trying to be very careful with the stuff they have. So I don't know what's going to happen with Baldwin, but
that was my next question.
I don't think he was very.
How does that sentence?
Yeah, I don't.
How does that sentence affect his defense now? Like,
yeah, I mean, but he has a really good defense in that actors are supposed to be careful. Yes, I think you heard it when the accident happened. A lot of action film stars, like we've gotten to the point where we don't need live weapons on sets, and sometimes old school filmmakers want to do it, but you don't need it anymore. Like it's so it's a tragic death. Getting 18 months is like probably the bare minimum because that family's never gonna have their daughter again. I think Baldwin could be in a little bit of trouble because it's in Arizona, and I if you want to believe everything, like theoretically, he probably should have been a little bit more careful with the weapon he was firing. But I don't know what's going to happen with that trial. So there's a mess of trials happening. Let's see.
With you bringing up Brandon Lee and The Crow, what do you think about the remake coming out? And
I don't think it looks bad. If you want to fight, if we want to get into a fight, I think The Crow, they've made several bad sequels. The first one is great. The Brandon Lee one is great. Everything else after is crap.
Agreed.
The idea this sequel has been, or this reboot has been percolating for a long time because the original filmmakers didn't, the original comic book artists didn't feel that they got the comic book.
The
right?
soundtrack's gonna make or break it. Because the original soundtrack was great.
Well, yeah, that's possible, but I also think, you know, Skarsgård is a really good actor. So, you know, like it's not like Brandon Lee who was just getting good at what he was doing. Do you know what I mean? Like Brandon Lee at that point was just getting good at what he was doing.
Right.
Skarsgård's a really good actor that could bring a little bit more to it than what we experience. I think it looks more like the comic. I think a lot of those pictures that were taken out of context before the trailer came out were ridiculous. Like there was one picture of him like showing off his pubic region, like the pubic bone, right? Where it's just like if you're a good-looking, non-chubby guy, you can get away with wearing pants that high, that low, right? And
I didn't even notice, but I'm just saying because I'm a guy, I don't look there.
You weren't looking. I'm not saying I was looking. I'm just saying that was one of the big things. Somebody sent me a message like, I don't want to look at this guy's pubic region, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it could be a hit. I don't know that it's going to be a major hit, but we haven't had a really good supernatural revenge movie in a while. I like Skarsgård. I like the actors involved. It might end up being good. I don't know. Let's see. Joe writes. Well, first Raven writes, "Me too, Jamie's chaos at its most artistic level. I just watched the Unbearable Weight movie. Yeah, the unbearable weight of massive talent is a great movie. Also, sorry, I was driving home. Good evening, everyone. So, how do we pad numbers? Forget it. Shush. Nobody wants to. Shut up, Joe. Shush. Raven says hi, Joe, and then Raven says, "Oops. I have feelings. I want to like it. The cast is good. I think people expected old school punk goth, and we're getting current emo vibe look. They did say they were basing this more on the comic, but I don't know. I think this should have been a period movie instead. Yeah, but I think when you do a period movie, you have to have a reason to do a period movie. You know what I mean?
Wow.
What do you mean?
Periods, we're having pads. I mean, just wow.
Wasn't that
show's going?
What's that Turning Red? Wasn't that a period movie or something?
Jesus Christ!
Oh man.
It is. Just so we're clear, it's okay. And it's okay that it is. It's okay that the girl has a red panda as a as a metaphor for having a vagina and a period. It's fine. Good movie, by the way. Love it.
Vagina.
What else?
Technical terms.
Other things that are going on. What is going on with you? So
you brought it up. You talked about pubic bones. It's your fault.
Well,
yeah.
I know you wanted to get into this, so let's do this next.
Oh, great! More pubic bones?
No.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3 is officially getting
just someplace to put your pubic bone.
More viral than Dune 2. I think it's a perfect segue. So you put up a poll.
Did we get this popcorn bucket?
Well, I think the funny thing is, like, if you're gonna have a risque popcorn bucket, this is the way to go. Like for this movie, because people will buy this shit. Also, tell me people aren't gonna want to have a fucking and I'm not saying to put their penis into it, but tell me you're not gonna want to have like a Deadpool popcorn bucket or a Wolverine.
Happy Women's Day
with the real armor.
There's a Paul Rubens joke in there.
Oh man, I was thinking diner. I was thinking diner, Jerry. But yeah, I mean, I think the popcorn bucket thing is here to stay. I think the more creative you get, and depending on the movie, this movie is going to be one of the biggest hits of the summer. This could end up being the biggest hit of the year, right? So yeah, popcorn bucket. Yeah, people are going to buy them. People are going to fight over them. You know what I mean? Some people are going to be intimate with them, which is ridiculous. But Kyle, what did you get numbers from the
We got
Facebook.
7 votes, and
What were the
we got
votes? What were
7
the
votes,
votes like?
and they were kind of all over the place, but people
I
think they're
voted
going to
as
buy.
Loud and Dirty. I vote that I buy all of them just because I like them. I think they're cool.
Yeah, you're the only ones that have to buy all of them. I think most people are going to buy the ones for the movies they like, and not all of them. But
Well, I mean that's
yeah,
kind of like
Ken voted that it was a fad.
Ken voted as fat.
So
Well, I mean they didn't have like the Civil War popcorn bucket. You know what I mean? Like so, it's only going to be for major motion pictures. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to have like the Civil War popcorn bucket or the
no,
Abigail popcorn bucket. You know what I mean? Like so, it is what it is. I mean, I got the Kong versus Godzilla bucket
That's-
ended up being super cool. It's two different colors. One is Godzilla blue and one is Kong like brown, and you can
Joe,
take it
Missy,
apart.
and Ken. Joe, Missy, and Ken all think it'll fade away.
They'll think it'll fade away, huh?
Yeah.
Who needs a woman when you have popcorn buckets? Popcorn buckets only work certain movies and in certain areas. I think that's true. Would prefer toys over a bucket. Well, I think the toys are, you can't really like. Maybe you can sell them at the theater, and I think they have been like. There's definitely more merchandise in my AMC than there was at the beginning of the year. Like there was Slimers, there were Ghostbuster pillows. So
Cinemark's been doing it for years, though. Before the pandemic, they would have a lot of merchandise to support, especially the kids' movies in the
yeah, well,
concession
no.
area.
Think about like one of the biggest performers this year, popcorn bucket and cup wise, and I know Jerry knows about it. Was the Taylor Swift thing, right? Your kid has a popcorn bucket and a drink cup,
Yes, and a
and it
cup.
was like $40. Yeah, and
Yeah,
your wife was
it was.
furious. I remember she was furious. So I don't know that it's a fad, but I think it is if it's collectible and if it's something that's important. Like Dune is important. Dungeons and Dragons is easy. Batman's easy. Top Gun's easy. You know what I mean?
Well,
Those
I
are all
mean, it's not something
I
they
have.
haven't done before. I have the Lord of the Rings glass goblet that lights up on the bottom. I still have my
Burger
cup
King.
from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but you had
Batman.
to go to like Burger King to get those, though. They weren't
Yeah,
really
I have
sold
all of the
in the
Lord of the
theater.
Rings toys from Burger King. I have that giant
Yes.
thing, the ring in the middle. You put the pieces in, and you turn it around. They all do something different. I still have that.
I'm sure my mom still
And
has a
folks,
pair of
this
3D
is the
glass
silverware and
Burger
stuff
King
JW
on the
brings
side.
out for Christmas dinner.
It's not
He's like, get the
silverware.
Christmas wear.
It
It's the
would be a
Lord of the
center.
Rings cups.
Just so we're clear, it'd be a centerpiece. They wouldn't be a fucking. It wouldn't be
It was
silverware.
actually glass, the one I have. It's
Oh no,
like
no,
a
no!
tablet.
But what I'm saying is, there were little toys they plugged into like a giant ring base,
Mhm.
and you turned it, and it did all kinds of cool stuff. Let's see. Hi, Raven. Joe says hi. I feel like it's a Disney bucket, so no, it's not a fad. And then let's see. Popcorn buckets are dust collectors. Too big for a display, in my opinion. Fair.
I can agree with
Yeah,
that. I have
it's
Ken
two of
it's
them
a
voted. I
here.
weird.
voted bad. I don't know. I just think it's with the big movies. I don't think it's with anything that you wouldn't want to have a cool popcorn bucket.
Maybe the
I have them on
Deadpool
my
Some
desk.
movies.
off of Dune.
I have them on my desk. Like Dune. It makes a. I'm gonna be honest. Dune makes a hell of a hat holder.
The Deadpool one's kind of copying that in a way, though. Huh?
Well, the Deadpool one is specifically saying, "You want to fuck a bucket? We can get you a bucket."
The Dune one was almost like this is a shake weight.
I know a
Yeah.
former co-host of this show that'll definitely have the Deadpool one, and will definitely have it filled with non-buttery products because they loved Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, a lot.
Loved.
Way too much.
Like
Not way too
even
much. I
in
like Ryan Reynolds.
R.I.P.D.
Yeah, he would defend that movie. But yeah,
Waiting.
I mean, so I don't think it's a bad movie. It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad movie either. It's what R.I.P.D. is. It's not as good as Dead Heat, which is
Dead
a
Heat
way
was
cool.
fantastic.
Dead
I
Heat's a
don't care what
great movie.
anybody
Joe
says.
Piscopo, Treat
The
Williams.
special effects were good too.
Yeah, they were really good. Great end fight sequence and a giant it's like a nightclub. It's like a nightclub.
Yeah.
Thing. Okay, so let's get to some things that are happening news wise. We had the Rust Armor. We talked about that. Um, we did have last week. We had the big CinemaCon thing, winners and losers. Everybody was talking about that this week. On CinemaCon is where all the big movies go to kind of kind of make exhibitors calm. Like, hey, we got stuff. We promise. You know what I mean? And there were some winners and losers. Deadpool and Wolverine was a big winner. Um, Inside Out 2 was a big winner. They showed about 35 minutes of that. They showed, there was a big, huge thing with Deadpool and Wolverine that was about 9 minutes. And basically, everybody who came out of that particular screening was going ape shit, basically thinking it was going to be the biggest movie of the year. They also previewed Moana 2 and Mufasa the Lion King and Alien Romulus, which the trailer for Alien Romulus is fantastic. I watched that trailer a couple times. It reminds me of old school Alien, and then you find out that what they've done is it takes place in between Aliens and Alien 3. And if you know me, I will tell you, I would like any movie that gets rid of Alien 3. Any movie that gets rid of Alien 3 for me is a winner. Because I fucking hate Alien 3. I don't care if David Fincher directed it. I don't give a shit. I love David Fincher movies. But Alien 3 can suck a dick. Can suck a bag of dicks. I hate that movie so much. Because I feel like everything that they did in Aliens in the first 5 minutes of the credits, they kill the little girl, they kill Newt, they kill Hicks, they kill Bishop, and they impregnate Ripley. So why don't you just shit all over my childhood? Why don't you just fucking, like, especially with everything that happened in Aliens, it was like, she puts Newt to bed and says everything's going to be okay. It's a kick in the balls of the movie. So if we're getting rid of Alien 3, yeah, let's go. Thumbs up. But that was a couple from Disney. They did very
You're
well.
wondering how to suck a bag of dicks? Go back to the popcorn buckets.
Yes, that's absolutely true. The one that didn't play well, though, apparently was The Lion King Mufasa. Because, again, it's a prequel. So we're not going to have any of the original music from the, like, it's not like it's a live action prequel of the James Earl Jones character from the Lion King movies. So basically, Scar skulking in the background, not really having the guts to kill him until we get to the Lion King. So I don't know where the hell we're going with that. Like, I don't understand that Lion King prequel. I know they made a ton of money with the Lion King live action, but it looks like it looks like shit. Also, one of the things that got brought up is that Andy Serkis is no longer involved with the Planet of the Apes movies, so they're a little worried about that. Let's see. Lionsgate had a preview. They had 3 or 4 movies that people were talking about. Ballerina, which is a John Wick spinoff with Anna de Armas, who was the Bond girl in No Time to Die. She's also in Knives Out, the original Knives Out. And then, they're a little bit worried about The Crow, obviously. Paramount also had a kick-ass thing, although I just read this and read about this. So Paramount, their notable stuff was Gladiator 2, which is a sequel to the Russell Crowe movie, If, which is the imaginary friend movie from John Krasinski, A Quiet Place Day 1, which is also from Krasinski, but he's only producing, and Transformers 1, which the trailer comes out this week. And Transformers 1 is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like animated movie about the Transformers, and it is the first time that somebody is going to play Optimus Prime, not John Cullen. Peter Cullen, I should say, not Peter Cullen. I think that's a mistake. Chris Hemsworth playing Optimus Prime, and Chris Hemsworth and Pratt playing every character known to man is not great. And the idea that we're not going to have the Peter Cullen Optimus Prime voice makes me sad. Like I don't know. But the Gladiator stuff was fantastic. Everybody's talking about Gladiator 2. It's got an up and coming young star named Paul Mescal, who was nominated for an Oscar last year. And it basically has the son of both the Joaquin Phoenix, like not the son of the Joaquin Phoenix character, but the kid from the original Gladiator is now grown up and kind of a douchebag. And Mescal, nobody's talking about, but he could be leading some sort of rebellion against him. But there was like a major sequence with like arena classes and fighting, and so everybody's talking about that. And Quiet Place Day One, that's a pretty good franchise for Paramount right now. Also, Universal just had the first scenes of Wicked, Despicable Me 4, and Twisters. Wicked is the movie that everybody is putting big money on for being major in December. That's the Christmas movie everybody's talking about. They also premiered sequences of Nosferatu, which is coming out. Robert Eggers, kind of a big budget. That's dropping on Christmas Day. The remake of Nosferatu. So it's dropping on Christmas Day, which is the ultimate, like, kind of a reverse psychology. So, are there any of these movies that you're super excited about? I've seen the trailer for Nosferatu. It's pretty great, pretty scary. I think If looks pretty good, like because I have a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old, so they get a kick out of like Banana being told to wear pants. You're freaking everybody out. Put some pants on, like. And it looks like a creative movie, like the idea that all these imaginary friends need to find new friends so they survive, which is kind of cool. I'm all for imaginary. Did you guys have imaginary friends when you were a kid?
I did.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't so much.
I
But I
didn't have.
remember having an imaginary
I
friend.
didn't have imaginary friends because
little.
I was so wrapped up in movies. So, what about you, Kyle? I see you as an imaginary friend guy. Do you have an imaginary friend?
No.
Okay, you didn't need it. Fuck it. Like I don't need to watch Twilight Zone. I don't need any friends. Fuck it.
They had two of them, and they used to fight with each other all the time. Used to aggravate.
But yeah, that's CinemaCon. CinemaCon was big. Warner Brothers had 3 sequels. They only put 3 movies in their package: Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, Joker, Folie à Deux, and Beetlejuice. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm excited about Beetlejuice. I'm excited about Furiosa. And I'm going to say this. I saw Joker once. That is a weird thing for me. I didn't love that movie at all.
Listen, my mother says my imaginary friend's name was Mikey. So
Mikey. Okay, there we go. Confirmation. Kyle, no confirmation for you? Just hated everybody?
Nothing.
Okay. Let's see. Kyle still has imaginary friends. Maybe they're real people, but they're imaginary.
Yeah. I had friends that said they would show up on Friday that no one else saw, but they said they were coming.
Okay. Well, Friday where?
At my house.
Oh, to see Hunter, right?
Yeah.
That's mean. They should be showing.
So I guess they're imaginary since I saw they were coming and no one else saw them here.
I feel like that's a sore subject. We're moving on. So I'm excited about Beetlejuice. I think it's
Michael Keaton.
It is Michael Keaton, and he's putting on the outfit again. I think I also sent you guys something with. I might not have sent it to you. I might have sent it to somebody else. Hold on, I'm gonna bring up the article. Okay. So every year they do a thing with Fandango does a thing of the most anticipated movies of the year. Like they ask pull, they pull, and I was reading this and I was shocked by it. Obviously, one is Deadpool and Wolverine. Two is Bad Boys Ride or Die. Three is
Yeah.
Despicable Me 4. 4 is A Quiet Place Day 1. 5 is Inside Out 2. 6 is
Yeah.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. 7 is The Watchers. 8 is The Fall Guy. 9 is the Garfield movie. And 10 is Borderlands.
The Watchers, isn't that the Corey Haim movie?
No, no, it is not the Corey Haim movie with little were they savage little bear cubs? Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, you bring back memories. I'm shocked by this list, and I'll tell you why I'm shocked by this list. One, there's no Furiosa on this list at all. And
The cleaning product?
no, that's Furioso. The Mad Max
Fandango's a ZZ Top album too, just saying. But anyway,
it's also an early Kevin Costner movie produced by Amblin. But yeah, I'm shocked. Are there any movies that are not on the top 10 that you guys think they're missing? Furiosa is mine.
no.
Why? I think like Alien Romulus looks pretty good. I don't think there's. It's a popular franchise. I
have
don't know.
to see the trailer for it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good. It's Fede Alvarez. It's the guy who did the Evil Dead reboot. So
This is the summer I expect stuff to sneak in because of all the strikes last year. That just there's not that many big releases, and you should have some movies that would normally go under the wire that are going to just hit this year for that reason.
Well, like what I think is going to be really interesting, and this is for all the people who are like, Marvel's down, Marvel's whatever. This movie is going to make bank. It may suck. It can be terrible, but it's going to make bank. It's going to make scratch. And I just think the funny thing will be when we sit back and look at the box office returns. And also, I think it's also going to be funny that in the month of May, without a Marvel movie, it's the first May in about 10 years we haven't had a Marvel movie on Free Comic Book Weekend. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to matter because I don't think the Fall Guy is going to do well. I had people sending me messages about what is this shit and where is Lee Majors? And I was laughing because I'm like, well, Gosling's pretty good. You know what I mean? Why are we being so mean to Ryan Gosling? But I just don't see. I think when we get there on that opening May weekend and it's like a $40 million weekend as opposed to like a $120 million weekend, I think people will be whatever. Let's see. Vicky says, sorry, had to work. And she didn't realize her imaginary friends comment was going to hit so close to home. Apparently. So I don't know. We'll talk more about summer movies as we get closer to May. Plenty of time for movies in May to kind of like flourish and do well. They've moved some things around. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes moved out of the way of Furiosa that last weekend. So at the last weekend in theaters, you have Garfield Furiosa, which is definitely not Barbenheimer. You know what I mean? So also, how about this?
Garfioso is not Barbenheimer?
Garfiosa. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Garfiosa. Thank you. Copyrighted here. A lot of nerdy.
Copyright Garfiosa. Yeah. Will we go like you dress up like a big orange cat and then you put on studded leather and stuff and you go to the next movie.
I actually know a few people like that already.
Oh, so it's it's a furry
furries. It's a furry convention.
You guys, I know we have a little bit of Disney Plus hatred in the group, but is anybody watching X-Men 97?
I already said I was last week, but you just overlooked that. But no, I have not watched episode 5 yet. I kind of wait till 3 or 4 of them drop, and then I've saw a lot.
I mean, I'm making a joke, but I binged because you said it was really good, and I binged all 5 episodes, and it's just
You
brutal.
hate me now.
No, I don't hate it because the show's so good. I I think it's interesting. It like the stuff they're doing is really dark for a Disney Plus show. Like Mr. Sinister showing up pretty early in episode 3, and yeah, I, the plot line
Gene?
the,
Gene?
the plot line
Gene?
is horrific. And Morph just kind of going, oh, I hope it's not him. Oh, it is him. But and then the inevitable Nathan Summers, having to move on, with Bishop. Yeah, so I mean, they're doing really dark shit. I mean, the first episode when they ended with fucking Magneto taking control of the fucking school, and you're like, we spent 3 seasons fighting Magneto. Like, what's happening? Like, this is terrible. Also, Cyclops seems to me like he's a maniac. So I think he's going to go off the
Well,
deep end.
understandable.
Well, yeah. Um, let's see. Okay, so wait, we got a couple things. Any update on the new Salem's Lot with Bill Sadler? Yes. So the update is Warner Brothers sucks, and they don't know what it is, even though Stephen King has seen it and he liked it. But it will premiere sometime in September on Max. So they're not going to release it to theaters. Which is probably a mistake because Stephen King movies do well, and Salem's Lot, the original one, is a fucking terrifying. I rewatched it. It's 3 hours. It moves. David Soul's in it. James Mason's in it, and he's fucking chilling. So I don't know who. Like, I think Sadler might be playing the James Mason role. Because I don't know who's playing the vampire. But the first one also had weird, like, Jerry, there's a moment where David Soul puts 2 tongue depressors together, and the priest who's with him blesses the tongue depressors, and he tapes them up, and the priest blesses them, and then one of the vampire people wake up in the morgue, and he puts the cross on them, and because it was a television movie, they just disappeared. They just the actor just disappeared.
Right.
No burning, no scariness. Just kind of disappears. Let's see what else. Raven says yes. I think that's X-Men '97, and I am not okay. No, X-Men '97 episode 5 is a soul crushing endeavor, Kyle. That you haven't watched, you motherfucker. Damn you, Kyle. Catch up. What the hell? We were waiting for it all to come out so we can watch it all at one time. Interesting. That leads me to believe you love spoilers, Vicky, because I'm not going to say anything. It's amazing. I'm waiting for the whole season 1 of X-Men '97 drop so I can binge it. Okay, but I'm just telling you, and Raven's telling you, 5 is brutal. Hey, Hunter.
He can't hear you.
I know, but hi, Hunter. How are you?
Oh God,
Put that in your.
What's happening? How's the American military
how's it
treating you?
going?
How you doing?
Oh, you know, it's the American dream.
The last time I saw you, we were seeing a shitty X-Men movie together.
Which time was that?
Oh, Phoenix. What was it? What the fuck was it? Phoenix Rising?
Yeah, the Phoenix one. I saw the Cinemark with him.
Your dad
Yeah, I
dragged
don't
you
remember any
in?
of the X-Men movies.
Yeah, he's like, wow.
Yes, I had to drag JW to a movie. Does anyone believe that statement?
Yes, I told you I didn't want to see it. I told you it was going to be bad, and then we got there.
That's
and
why
guess
we
what?
went on fucking $4
It was-
Tuesday night.
It was bad.
It
Spoilers.
was so bad that we played Mystery Science Theater 3000 and made it fun.
We did. It was bad. It was bad. JW, clearly we need to talk with people when people catch up. But I'm not giving you all spoilers. I'm not going to say anything, but episode 5 is not great. I've waited too long for the MCU to get the mutants. Excuse the crazy lady. They're my boy.
Yeah, I took over your comic section.
Raven says hi. Hi Hunter. Vicky says hi. Thank you for your service, Joe Ridgely.
Thank you for
And
the
we're
support.
talking X-Men now. Deja vu. Yeah, it's like it's all over again. Except this one's well written and extremely well done. X-Men '97 is way better than what was it? Phoenix. It was Phoenix Rising, wasn't it? Phoenix Rising.
Something like that. The Phoenix Saga.
Phoenix Saga. We got to get it right. Hold on. X-Men Phoenix. Let's get it right.
I didn't try to do
How is
comment and do
everything?
dishes at the same time.
How's everything going with you? Everything. How's your travels around the world? It's X-Men Dark Phoenix, by the way. Was the name of the
X-Men
trash
Dark
movie we went to see. McAvoy,
The
Vasquez.
army's been good.
Army's been good. How's the girlfriend? Everything going well?
So far, so good. She wanted me to come over tonight, but I was just like, he made me one of his mixtures.
I started them drinking at like 6:30 tonight, so you know.
Okay, yeah. Stay
Can't
home.
drive.
Be safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be safe. Let's see. Excuse the slippery hand. Still trying to comment and do dishes. Ken says Dark Phoenix. Yeah, thanks, Ken. We got it. But yeah, it's a bad movie. But X-Men '97.
Oh God, you took off with Darth Vader?
X-Men
Can't advertise
97.
that.
Pretty damn good, kids. And easily the best thing that has recently been on Disney Plus. What else? So we're at the 52-minute mark. It is a good time.
Mom's saying hi.
It is good time. I haven't seen any comments from her today.
My son is on TV.
Oh, there you
Definitely
go.
on a laptop.
My son is on TV. Yeah, but I mean, we thank him for his service. It's more shit. He should be on every shit. Hi, Hunter.
Superman.
Your mom's in the other room and she's saying hi.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's weird. It's weird.
Here's my segment for the week. This week's flea market find for Kyle: $5 for the 3-pack of
$5.
Superman.
That's pretty good.
$5 for the red, white, and blue Superman. And from what I researched, it was one of the comic book convention exclusives. So
Nice.
there you go.
Before we get to our two
That's
segments,
Kyle's segment for the week.
that's Kyle getting cool shit for his room. Maybe that's what we should call it. But you have to buy something every week. That'd be fresh. Quick before we go to our segments that have energized the nation. Quick preview of what's coming out this week. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Guy Ritchie, Henry Cavill, Alan Richardson from Reacher. It's a man on a mission movie, but it's also like fused with Guy Ritchie humor. So figure Snatch mixed with Dirty Dozen, and apparently Cavill's playing Ian Fleming, so that's the rumor. But it's got a good cast. They're all fighting behind enemy lines, trying to break up the Germans. And Alan Richardson is quickly becoming one of the best actors of his generation, or action stars. And Cavill, we're waiting on Cavill. There are rumors he's going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, as Wolverine in a different universe. Another movie opening this week, and we got to talk a little bit really quick. There's this movie coming out called Abigail, and it's by the Radio Silence guys. They, of course, are the directors of Ready or Not, Scream 5, and Scream 6. And this Abigail movie is basically a full horror comedy. Basically, somebody kidnaps a little girl who likes ballet. She turns out she's a vampire, and they have to try to survive the night. And it's getting great reviews, and everybody said it's fucking hilarious. It's scary. Another movie that's opening limited. I don't know if it's going to get everywhere, but Sasquatch Sunset is opening. It's a weird movie with a really good cast that you can't recognize because they're under Sasquatch makeup. But Jesse Eisenberg and Riley Keough from Daisy and I can't think of it. I can't think of the name. It's there, but my head's pounding. But it's a Sasquatch movie, and it's no dialogue. They kind of just hang out. That's Jesse Eisenberg right there.
Harry and the Hendersons family.
Yes, but it's apparently R-rated and smutty. So, and now we bring one of our favorite segments. I don't know, because he's been saving our country, so he doesn't like he's overseas. He doesn't have to worry about this. But we do a little segment here called "It Came from Jerry's Basement." Hunter, and Jerry has a lot of movies in his basement. What is the movie tonight?
Bring
And
you over, Jerry.
it is on
I'm
Tubi.
scared to be
Correct?
there.
It is on Tubi. What is the movie tonight?
Tonight's movie is The New York Ripper.
And I will that is proof that you have that in your basement, and I will put up the poster. Tell us a little bit about it, Jerry. What is this New York Ripper movie about?
New York Ripper is directed by Lucio Fulci. It is about basically a serial killer in New York. Pretty graphic movie. There's a detective who is trying to find out who this person is. This person does have a motive for what they are doing, but it's the special effects are there's a lot of blood. Let's put it that way.
So it's like
if you're into
granddaddy,
slasher films with a lot of gore, this is the film for you.
and it's a little bit of a granddaddy of Seven. It kind of has a little bit in common with Seven. Okay. So that's that. It came from Jerry's basement, and Jerry's doing and compiling the list. We have a bunch of other movies that he's done, and we're super excited about it. And we will add the New York Ripper to the list. You can see it on Tubi for free. So check it out. And now we go to my favorite segment of the week, and it's actually it's fantastic this week. It's a great episode. So it's one I've never seen before. Twilight Zone Redux. You've crossed over into the Twilight Zone Redux. Super excited. And the episode this week is called "What You Need." And it is a fantastic, the opening narration. You're looking at it starts in a bar. You're looking at Mr. Fred Renard, who carries on his shoulder a chip the size of the national debt. This is a sour man, a friendless man, a lonely man, a grasping, compulsive, nervous man. This is a man who has lived 36 undistinguished, meaningless, pointless, failure-laden years, and who at this moment looks for an escape, any way, anything, anybody to get out of the rut. And this little old man is just what Mr. Renard is waiting for. And so Ernest Truex plays this character named Padot, and Steve Cochran plays Fred Renard. And it's ever so slight, the beginnings of this episode, but I do want to point out New York is mentioned. Not New York. Scranton is mentioned. Scranton, Pennsylvania is in this episode of the Twilight Zone. 12 episodes in. We're getting reverb. So yeah, coming up. Kyle, we're getting reverb.
That's all Kyle's fault. Hey, my wife watched this one.
Did she?
As soon as they said Scranton, it was like,
holy shit. Okay. So basically what it is, this little old man, it's based on a book, but this little old man, he gives people what you need is the name of the episode. And basically what he does is, ever so gently, he just gives you something that you need. It doesn't necessarily, sometimes it changes your life. And sometimes it can be special and important. But other times
he has a little suitcase full.
He has a little suitcase. He's one of those traveling salesmen.
He offers you things until he looks at you and says, well, you need this.
Right. And in this case, the first person he runs into is a pitcher named Lefty, who has failed out of baseball, but he's a little bit down on his luck, and he goes into his thing and he pulls out a ticket to Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Bus ticket.
A bus ticket. And he's like, why would I need a bus ticket to Scranton, Pennsylvania? At which point there's a phone
call. He wants to enter a bowling tournament. Then he loses his hand.
It was a minor league baseball.
There's a minor league baseball team in Scranton, Pennsylvania. But the phone call is a coach that had worked with Lefty for a long time, and he's been looking for him. And he says, I have a minor league team that needs a baseball coach, a pitching coach in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Now, Lefty's suit is a little bit messed up, and earlier in the
Maybe you
little
could be a
segment,
coal miner, Lefty.
maybe you could be a coal miner. That's all they do is dig
Scranton
coal
has
there.
coal mines.
Yeah, the guy makes fun. But there's also a woman in the bar, and she looks down on her luck, and the old man gives her a spot remover, and you don't know why. Like maybe like I had nefarious purposes immediately. I'm like, he gave her a spot remover. Maybe she killed somebody, and Lady Macbeth style needs to get the blood out of the.
You don't need
But it's
matches. You need this cleaner.
you need this. You need this cleaner, and he's a really nice old man. And what happens is Lefty has a bunch of stains on his suit, and she goes over and she cleans his suit for him. And there's a little bit of a romantic connection, like she's going to go to Scranton with him. And meanwhile, on the other end of the bar is Fred Renard, and he is the biggest fucking dirtbag going. He's just a terrible person. He is somebody that the old man kind of avoids him in the bar. And then Padot leaves and he goes out and he's doing his wares on the street, and Fred runs into him and he says, he's like, "What do I need? I saw how you did that, old man. What do you got? You got something going on? What do you got, a crystal ball in that suitcase of yours?" And he's really mean to the old man. And he looks, Padot looks down into his bag and he gives him a pair of scissors. And Fred's like, "Why would I need a pair of scissors?" And he leaves. Well, Fred goes into his apartment building and he puts a scarf on, and the scarf gets caught in the elevator going up. So it's gonna break his neck, and he cuts the scarf with the scissors. And at that point, he hunts the old man down and says, "I think you're playing it. If you do have a crystal ball, if you are somebody that is prescient about whatever, I want to know what it is. So you're going to give me what I need all the time. We're now partners all the time." And Padot gives him a leaky pen.
The pen. Mm-hmm.
And the pen, there's a newspaper on the ground in Padot's apartment, and the pen's leaky, and the pen, he's playing with it, and it leaks, and it hits the ground, and it hits the newspaper next to a horse. And it's really great. There's a lot of horses. If you pay attention to the horses in the episode, first off, the Scranton PA ticket is highly visible. Secondly, if you pay attention to all the racing form, there's a lot. There's a Rod Serling is one of the jockeys. The executive producer is one of the jockeys. The effects operator. So it's very tongue in cheek. It's also the newspaper. Actually, a newspaper he gets later is the newspaper that is used in Time at Last. So it's got a big H-bomb thing on the front of it, but the leaky pen runs out of ink. And so he goes after Padot and he says, "What do I need today? What do I need today?" And Padot kind of gives him like, I can't give you what you need. You need humor and compassion and empathy and all of these things that regular human beings have that Fred does not have. And you can see Padot scared, and he's a kindly old man. It's a great performance. And he basically, at some point, says, "I can't give you anything else you need." "Well, you're going to." And he threatens him. And so Padot, kind of like, he looks at his bag. He looks at his bag, and he looks down again. And when he does, Fred notices a pair of shoes in the bag, and he takes them out. And he's like, "Shoes? What do I need shoes for?" "Oh, it must be great. I'm going to walk somewhere or whatever." He puts the shoes on immediately. He starts walking in the shoes, and Padot puts his bag together, and he walks to the center of the street, and Padot's like, "Well, are you going to tell me what I need these shoes for?" And actually, these shoes don't fit, and they're slippery, and they're kind of tight. I'm having trouble wearing them, and all this other stuff. And Padot stands at the center of the street and says, I didn't give you what you need. I gave you what I need, because I feel you're going to kill me." At which point, Fred lunges at Padot. Padot gets out of the street, and Fred is hit by a car. And basically, Padot goes to the side of the road and basically kind of says, "I gave you what you need, what I need to make sure that you don't kill me." And it's a really good episode.
You know what I found to be interesting?
It was so good.
When they had the whole scene in the bar, right? It reminded me of the previous episode with the phone booth and everything. It could have been the same set. For
It
all
could
we
have been
know.
the exact same set, and that's the thing. Like, but it's also like, I don't know. The writing is crisp. I got the ending in my head right as it was happening, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna say it's what I need. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I felt it, and it's just a great episode.
Then at the very end, he gives the guy a comb.
Yes, yeah. The neighbors come out and like, what happened? Oh, somebody got
They
it was
gave it a lighter feel at the end, right?
yeah. They realize that Padot was fearing for his life, and there's a guy and his hair's all mussed, and he's like, what happened? What happened? And Padot's like, oh, somebody got murdered, or somebody got hit. It was a hit and run. Here, you need this. I don't need anything. And he hands him a comb. The guy goes over and is like, one of the newspapers is taking pictures, and his wife nudges him and quick, fix your hair. We're gonna be in the papers.
Yep.
He takes the comb out, he combs his hair, and he thinks about it for a moment, he puts it back in, and then you just see Padot walking away. It's a really good episode.
This is the first episode I didn't think was horrible. Wow, she actually made a
Oh, there we go. We're gonna get to it in a sec. Closing narration: street scene, right? Traffic accident. Victim named Fred Renard. Gentleman with a sour face to whom contentment came with difficulty. Fred Renard, who took all that was needed in the Twilight Zone. It's such a good episode, and it's based on a short story. And it like so all of these things like they're not only working with Rod Serling, but he's working with Richard Matheson, and in this case, he's working with a writer. It's based on a book. Where's the book? Lewis Paget. It's a short story by Lewis Paget that was in an astounding science fiction magazine in 1954 or 1945. So they're taking stuff, not only everything that they have, but they're taking really good short stories and adapting them to the product, and it's so well done. Next week's episode on the Twilight Zone Redux will be. First, also I need to point out this episode is episode 12 of the anthology series, and it premiered on Christmas Day, 1959. Next week's episode, The Four of Us Are Dying, will be on January 1st, 1960. So next week's episode, The Four of Us Are Dying. Let's get some comments. Let's see. Cavill will be Highlander. Yes, he's definitely going to be a Highlander. Definitely doing Warhammer. He's definitely where he lands in the MCU, or if he, after the DCU, we don't know what's going to happen. Civil War was absolutely crazy. It was really good though. We actually just got home from Irina's vow. Nice. Is that okay? It was about Scranton. Yes, Scranton was in it, Ashley. I'm glad you finally enjoyed a Twilight Zone episode. It was great. Check it out if you can. Ashley's like, I watched it with an upside down smiley face. We have a minor league baseball team so far. True. Well, in that time, it wasn't a minor league team of the Yankees. I think it was one of the reasons that they brought baseball back was because they had this team in the 50s, right? So that was one of the reasons that the area supported a team in the 50s. And then Ashley writes, this is the first episode they didn't think was horrible. I mean, it's
I'm trying.
It's progress. It's progress.
She watched something black and white and didn't mention black and white once.
And didn't got wrapped up in the story. It's a great little story. The old man was really quite engaging. Like just the way he would the way he looked at Fred Renard was absolutely chilling. Every time
when he knew he was coming too.
Yeah, like you could see him behind him. Like, holy fuck, that guy's behind me again. That guy's a crazy person. I got to get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Good episode. Next week, The Four of Us Are Dying. And that will be January. The episode that was the 13th episode of the first season, and it premiered on my birthday in 1960. So 14 years before I was born. Okay. So this is a good time to end. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. We've previewed next week's movies. We've talked everything through. X-Men 97. We'll I think will change your life. It's that good. What do you got going on, Kyle? What's happening? And next week I think are we having Vicky on to preview, or is that coming up this weekend?
It's not this weekend. It's the following weekend.
Following weekend. Okay, so we are having we'll invite Vicky on next week to talk about her fairy store, fairy festival, or I want to get the fucking name wrong. That sounds bad. But we'll talk about what's happening. It's happening at the Moon Ballroom, right?
Sounds about right. I heard all the vendors are sold out.
That's good. And that's great because I definitely want the Moon Ballroom to succeed. Jerry, you have a show coming up.
If it's still standing after this Saturday, because I heard there's a big
Saturday
show at the Moon Ballroom.
There's a Slapjaw concert
Eclipse Fest is this Saturday. Show starts at 5:30. 11 bands, 2 stages. We're on at 8:30.
Nice.
So it'll be a good time.
Clutch. We do have 2 tickets to give away. So if you post something, your favorite X-Men in the Loud and Nerdy group, or it's got to be a post from somebody, favorite X-Men. How about that? Get 2 free tickets to this concert that Jerry's willing to give you. And we'll leave it, we'll call or however we're going to do it. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everybody was great. Anything else? Anything else? Go drink with your son. That's important. Great. Yes, Ferry Market. Okay, cool. We'll have you on to talk about it next week, Vicky.
Not what you might think,
make sure,
folks.
guys, you can get back to padding now. Jesus Christ. We're always padding.
He does talk about Paddington Bear a lot. He does talk about Paddington Bear a lot. I do like
Paddington. Paddington's a great movie. Paddington 2 is fantastic. Just so we're clear. But everybody have a great week. Some 3 new movies opening this weekend. Got a Cavill movie, got a vampire movie, got a Sasquatch movie. Very, very fun.
You're really going to lead with a Cavill movie?
Also, yeah, Cavill's going to be. I like Cavill. I like Cavill a lot. Also, just for everybody, you get JW the Movie Guy on Facebook, on Twitter, on Threads, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, and also coming up, we're still doing Bondathon 2024. We are moving on to Timothy Dalton's last movie, James Bond Will Return, and we are doing License to Kill this week.
License to Kill.
License to Kill. So
it's been a while since I've seen that.
Dangerous place to be. We will then follow it up with The World Is Not Enough and Skyfall. So 3 big Bond movies coming up, and
when are the ones with Michael Myers coming up?
Those aren't Bond movies. And Jesus Christ. Okay. I give up. I can't even get you to watch Twilight Zone episodes that have Scranton in them. Womp womp. Hunter Defina said womp womp. I like Hunter.
Look, I have these these are CED discs.
Holy shit.
CED?
The Connery collection.
Holy shit. Look at those.
Actually, no, they're laser discs. Sorry.
Yeah, they're nice. Discs. Look at that.
I have CED discs too, but
thanks for joining everybody tonight. Be sure to like us on YouTube. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Like and subscribe. We always appreciate it. And the last thing, if you are somebody that's creative, you have a trailer or something you wanna do, any movie trailer commercial, email it to us and we'll play it in an upcoming Indie Escape Network show. Free. The email address is the.indie.escape@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great week. Go see a movie. Watch some X-Men 97. Don't wait, because if you wait, it's your fault. When the show gets spoiled, it's your fucking fault. So I'm just saying. Bye.